This is Arif Mohammed, contributing editor for CIO magazine. I'm here with Jeff Barrell, CEO of Connected Data. We're continuing the conversation about file and data storage and how it's changed and evolved over time. Welcome back, Jeff. When it comes to file sharing and data storage, what are the differences in the ways that we used to do things compared with how we can do it now?
Well, I think there are four key differences between what we used to do and what we do now. I mean, the first of those is it's much easier to share data. It used to be pretty hard to share data just in your company. You would have to go see IT and get them to set up something for your list or something. And forget sharing data with other companies. Just cross-corporation sharing was just almost impossible with friends even or family. So these days it's super easy. You just create a folder, you invite other people to share it with you, and then the work you do in there is collaborative. You can all see the changes and the differences. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is that it used to be very, very hard to send large files. And by large files, I mean just 10 megabytes or more. So even an average sort of PowerPoint presentation or anything with audio or video in it would have been almost impossible. Used to use email for sending these files, but they'd bounce back from your server or somebody else's server. Very hard to send large documents. Now you just send a link. You send a link to somebody, they click on it, and they download the file. So that's become much, much easier. The next thing I'd say is that we all expect our data to be available to us wherever we are on our mobile devices. We'll carry these computers with us everywhere, tablets and smartphones. And so that's the third thing, the fact that we can get our data wherever we happen to be on the devices we have with us. And then finally, it used to be such that if a file got damaged or you wanted to go back to an earlier version, you'd have to go see IT and it would take them forever to get these files back. And now I think we expect to be able to get our own data back, go back to earlier points in time or recover files that we accidentally deleted. So all of those things are new. If you go back just 5 years, there wasn't really any way to do any of them. And now they're just a standard part of life.
So Jeff, what are the benefits for IT departments and IT teams of using Transporter?
Well, the first off is that they can offer their users finally a service that they control, but one that works the way the users want. So hopefully that gets the users back into the fold, they become good corporate citizens, yet they still get all the flexibility that they're used to having from a cloud service. And that's step number one, because right now, as I mentioned earlier, almost half of an enterprise's data is sort of being leaked out to various cloud services. And a lot of enterprises now, including, like a Fortune 100 we were talking to you last week, is actually starting to regulate and prevent their employees from using these kinds of services. So they really need an alternative that they can move those users onto. So getting control of the data is definitely number one. Number two, most cloud services just can't be backed up. So you're relying on the cloud service provider to protect the data for you. And again, as a company CIO, you're either being audited by your boss or by the regulators to ensure that you have that data protected and secured some way, usually for about 6 years, depending on the industry you're in. With a cloud service, that's impossible. Again, with devices like Transporter that you buy and own yourself, you can back it up. So whether you need to put an optical media or tape, or you have some other disk-based appliance, you get full control over your data and historical archives of it, which again is very important for auditing reasons.
And how easy is it to administrate and to organise the users' rights to use the Transporter?
Trivially simple. We started with very small devices that individuals had, and we've grown into business class devices. So we sort of brought a lot of that ease of use DNA forward to the new products. So it's an appliance that's super easy to deploy. We think almost anybody can set it up. For the user, there's probably very little difference between using a public cloud or using the Transport, which is how we've designed it, so that it has all of the characteristics that they love from these public cloud services. But they get to be a good citizen of the corporation. Additionally, transports can be very large. So a terabyte is about the largest sort of cloud account that you're going to get these days. But a terabyte's a tiny amount of data. Most of us have a terabyte hard drive or larger just in our home PC, just in one of our home PCs. And so one of the nice things about Transporter, again, because it's hardware you buy and own, is you can have very large transports. You can have tens of terabytes of data, and it can all be accessible. So rather than sorting out a few files you can put in cloud storage and the rest is sort of left back at the office, now you can have access to anything you might need wherever you happen to be. So you're on the road, you can use your mobile device or your iPad or iPhone or whatever it happens, your Android phone, to go get those files and access them. So when you need them, they're there for you.
So where's this technology heading as far as you can see?
Well, I think it was generally assumed that that these kind of usage characteristics that users love was sort of an aspect of public cloud. But it's not true at all. It's just a new way of working with files. So we're the first people to introduce this on hardware that an enterprise can buy and own themselves. But I think this is the next evolution for file services. I think the old way we did things with servers and file shares and F drives and VPNs, I think that's pretty much done. I think in the next couple of years we'll just see that become something of history, and I think all users will work this way. The ability to share ad hoc, create work groups, the people they need to work with when they need to work with, the ability to transmit data no matter how large anywhere in the world and access all of their data all the time. It's just going to be something that people expect as standard. You're in a conversation in a coffee shop, you need to show somebody a presentation, you can just access it. Anything that's there, you can just go get it right then, right there.
So how do you see it complementing traditional storage? Will it replace it? Is there still going to be tiered storage for critical and non-critical data?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, storage is a massive industry. If you're in it, you're sort of aware of all this different types of storage for different kinds of applications. I mean, what we're talking about here with Transporter or with the public cloud services is what the storage industry calls unstructured data. So the majority of what most users interact with, Word documents, PowerPoint templates, Excel documents, regular files. But the enterprise has all sorts of other data. They have accounting systems and record systems and huge databases from companies like Oracle, and these all require different kinds of storage. So there's flash storage for high performance databases, which is emerging again, sort of super high performance. So there's lots of different kinds of storage, and there'll be a place for each different kind, I think.
Is there a particular industry that's better suited to this type of storage than others?
Well, some of the industries that are worst affected or most affected by the cloud storage problem are industries that are heavily regulated. So that would include government, that would include medical, that would include legal practices, where they're very heavily regulated. And losing any data, patient data, employee data, the severe penalties. So they really just can't use that kind of cloud storage. So a device like Transporter that gives them all that flexibility, but again on storage that's very secure, it's great for those industries. But in general, I think everybody can benefit from just having all of their data available sort of ubiquitously wherever they happen to be.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for your time.
Thanks ever so much.